discuss about the second step of Preksha meditation, which we call as Antar Yatra. That can be translated as the internal trip or the internal journey. And also we are going to discuss today about the fourth step of Preksha meditation, which is called as the Jyoti Kendra Preksha, that is perception of the psychic center situated in the middle of the forehead, that is the center of enlightenment. So we start with the discussion on Antar Yatra. In the first step, we had practiced Kayotsarg, that is relaxation with self-awareness. When a person attains relaxation of the body with self-awareness, he has to go further, that is to say deeper into his consciousness. And for that, we start with this second step, which we call as Antar Yatra. The technique of Antar Yatra is very simple. First of all, you have to concentrate your mind on the lower end of your spinal cord. You know that in your vertical column or the spinal column, which is situated in your back, there is the lower end where the spinal cord ends. So that is called as the Shakti Kendra, that is the psychic center of energy. So you have to concentrate first your mind on that center, then you have to allow your mind to undertake an internal trip inside the spinal cord. Start the journey from the center of energy. Allow your mind to slowly go upwards in your spinal cord, and ultimately you have to reach the upper end of the spinal cord and pass through it, then enter into the area of your brain and reach up to the top of the head, which we call as Gyan Kendra. Gyan Kendra is the center of knowledge, or we may also call it a center of wisdom. In this way, the journey or the internal journey starts from the lower end of the spinal cord, that is center of energy, and it ends at the top of the head, that is center of knowledge. Again, you have to start your journey from the center of knowledge. Allow your mind to go downwards, passing through the brain, then entering into the spinal cord and reaching the lower end of the spinal cord. In this way, there is a constant going up and coming down, going up and coming down in your spinal cord and brain, which are the centers of our central nervous system. So we are discussing now the technique, how you have to perform the exercise of internal trip. So you try to understand that during this internal journey, you have to concentrate fully your mind from the center of energy, passing through the spinal cord and brain, reaching the center of knowledge, and again coming back to the center of energy. Then you have to repeat this internal journey several times. Go on repeating the same process and try to concentrate the mind more and more on your spinal cord and brain. In this way, you have to find that you have to experience the vital energy flow or the subtle vibrations of your vital energy which take place inside the nervous system situated in the spinal cord and the brain. This is a very simple exercise. During this exercise, in order to make your concentration more powerful, you have to synchronize this internal trip of your mind in the spinal cord and the brain with the process of your breathing. You know, you will continuously breathe during this internal trip. Now you try to concentrate your mind on the spinal cord and the brain during your internal trip. Together with that, also you try to synchronize the process of breathing while exhaling. You undertake the upward trip. That is, go from center of energy to center of knowledge. When you reach there, now start inhaling. Now during inhalation, you go from center of knowledge up to the center of energy. Again, repeat the same. During exhalation, undertake the upward journey. During inhalation, undertake the downward journey. In this way, go on repeating the same process again and again. Now what you have to do during the internal trip? Simply you have to perceive, see, experience whatever sensation, vibration you feel inside your spinal cord and your brain while undertaking the internal journey, either from the center of energy to center of knowledge or from center of knowledge to center of energy. Both the times you have to feel only the vibrations, sensations, etc. that take place in your body at this place. Especially you try to also concentrate your mind on the subtle vibrations of your own vital energy. You know, we have discussed about the existence of our own self at various levels. One level at which our own existence of self works is the level of our vital energy, which is called as prana. So there is a vital flow, a flow of vital energy taking place inside the body. This vital flow generates certain vibrations, very, very subtle vibrations, very difficult to grasp. But by practice, if you increase your grasping power and you improve your concentration, then you can feel these vibrations inside your spinal cord and brain. That is the nervous system. So now let us understand what is the actual process we are doing, why we are doing it, what is the base from the point of view of spiritual philosophy or spiritual science, and also the modern science, the medical science and the biology. First we shall take the modern science. According to the concept of modern science, modern biology, physiology and anatomy, in the human body there is a very important system which is called as nervous system. And you may all be knowing that the nervous system is the most important system of our body, because all other systems of the body, may it be digestive system or the respiratory system or the circulatory system, whatever it is, all the systems are ultimately controlled or managed or conducted by the nervous system. and the central nervous system is situated in our spinal cord, that is situated in our back portion, in our spinal column, and also the brain, which is situated in our head. So these two, the spinal cord and the brain, they constitute our central nervous system. When the central nervous system is working in our body, it operates all the biological processes that take place in all the cells of our body. The controlling power is in our central nervous system. All the cells which are working in the body, they have a communication with the spinal cord and the brain through the nerves. There are two types of nerves, sensory nerves and the motor nerves. Through sensory nerves, the messages are given to the central nervous system, that is spinal cord and the brain, and through the motor nerves, the orders or the commands from the central nervous system, that is spinal cord and the brain, are given to various parts of the body, and the body works. So you can understand the importance of our central nervous system. Now in this exercise, what we do is we concentrate our mind, our conscious mind, our full attention on the central nervous system. So you can understand how important is this exercise from the point of view of the working of our central nervous system. When the central nervous system is working, it has two branches. One is called the voluntary nervous system, the other is called the involuntary nervous system. Involuntary nervous system, all the voluntary movements of our body are controlled, and in the involuntary system, the functions, the work, whatever takes place in our body and mind, which is not done through our volition, our will, our intellectual power, that is automatically they are managed through the working of our autonomous nervous system. But both voluntary and involuntary are related with the central nervous system, and therefore when we concentrate our conscious mind on this part of the central nervous system, what we do is to have a direct communication with our own nervous system, with our own central nervous system, and through that we can make the desirable changes that take place in our body and take advantage by bringing about the necessary change in the working of the nervous system. So this is the physiological aspect of our practice of antaryatra, that is internal trip. Now we come to the point of the vital energy flow. This is according to the science of vital energy, which we call as Prana Vigyan. There is a complete science which explains the vital energy flow in our body. And in the Prana Vigyan, that is science of vital energy, it is believed that the flow of the vital energy which take place in our body is also centrally managed by our spinal cord and the brain. And it is divided into three main flow. One flow is called the Ida, other is called the Pingala, and the central flow is known as the flow of Sushumna. Now, incidentally, the spinal cord is also termed as Sushumna because the vital flow of the Sushumna and the nervous system, the central nervous system, which is situated in the spinal cord, is also the Sushumna. Both are actually existing at the same place. From the point of view of medical science, when the central nervous system in the spinal cord is active, it manages the functions of the whole body, and in language of vital energy flow or the science of vital energy, we say that when the consciousness is concentrated in the Sushumna, we bring about the balance between the two other flows of vital energy, which are known as Ida and Pingala. Ida and Pingala are autonomically controlled by ourselves, in the sense that we don't know which part of energy flow is necessary at which time. Sometime our flow of Ida is playing the major role and the Pingala becomes a minor one. Other times the flow of the other side, that is Pingala, becomes more dominant, more active, and the other, that is the Ida, becomes at rest. So in this way, there is an autonomous control of Ida and Pingala both going on, and when there is a balance between the two, that is when a person becomes more and more introvert. Then there is a balance between Ida and Pingala, the both flows, and there is a sort of equanimity established in our consciousness, in our self, and that is the main idea or the main aim a spiritual practitioner wants to attain. Whenever your energy flow is inside the Sushumna, where the balance of Ida and Pingala takes place, that is, you are situated or you bring your own self or consciousness in a equanimous state. You know, equanimity is ultimately the most desirable state of our consciousness, in which we become completely free from all likes and dislikes, all hatred and attachment, all rag and dvesh. This is the most desirable state for a spiritual practitioner. So whenever you can bring your conscious mind concentrated on your Sushumna, it starts working, and that means that you are having the state of complete equanimity. In this way, from the point of view of science of vital energy, we can understand the importance of our practice of Antaryatra. Now when we interpret this both, that is the scientific version and the version of the Prana Vigyan, that is science of vital energy, we can say that in the science of spirituality, a person who lives in the worldly life has to become introvert from the point of view of spiritual development, and even while living the life in the external world, he must have his inclination more and more directed towards the internal existence. The external existence of the world is only necessary for the worldly affairs and the life and activities which are related with the external world. But actually a spiritual practitioner wants to make his own self more and more introvert and to come into contact with his own internal phenomena of consciousness and of karma or the bondage which are taking place inside the soul or the self, and then he tries to resolve or become free from those bondages. For that he has to concentrate himself more and more on the internal existence, and this exercise of antaryatra is exactly a process through which a person becomes more and more introvert. So from all these 3 points of view, that is from the point of view of physiology, from the point of view of prana vigyan, and from the point of view of spiritual science, this exercise of antaryatra is very important exercise. In this exercise, when we practice it more and more, we find that automatically there is a change in the direction of our attitude. All our attitudes which were formerly extrovert or which were concerned about only the external things, external world, material world, now slowly and gradually we become introvert, and then we give more importance to our internal world in comparison to our external world. When a person becomes introvert, gives more importance to his internal existence, then as a matter of fact, he is not involved in the controversies of the external world which takes place every time. Because the bondage of karma is mainly due to your involvement in the external world. Either you have got the attachment for certain things or you have the aversion for certain things. This kind of attachment and aversion that goes on every moment, and the more bondage is incurred, karmic bondage becomes more and more profound, and then that becomes the hindrance in the development of your own self, of your own spirit. So for spiritual development, we have to become free from the attachment and aversion which we do in our external world. So for making our mind or our chitta, psyche, more and more equanimous, we must enter inside and become free from the controversies or the confusions or the reactions of the external world. For this, we have to practice this internal trip in our Prakshadhyan meditation system. So you can understand the technique, what is the technique, how it is to be practiced, and why it is to be practiced. The result of internal trip is very, very beneficial for a spiritual practitioner. He can develop the right view, which is the first condition for becoming the spiritual practitioner. If your world view is perverted, it is wrong, it is false, then it means that whatever you do for your spiritual development will not go further. So to make your view correct, to attain right view, right world view, one has to become introvert, and This exercise helps a lot for a spiritual practitioner to a spiritual practitioner, and he attains the right worldview through which he can then understand the exact nature of his own self and the relations of his self with the external world. Of course, he will live in external world, but because of his becoming more and more introvert, because of his attaining the right view, he will give importance only to the internal world and not to the external world in which he is going on indulging in attachment and aversion. So this is the way how a spiritual practitioner gets the benefit from the practice of internal trip. Then there are also other benefits which he can accrue from this. The development of extrasensory perception or knowledge, which is called ESP in science of parapsychology. This kind of attainment also is possible to be gained through the practice of internal trip. So in this way, the internal trip is very important from the spiritual practitioner. And then when we talk about the other benefits, we can say that because the nervous system is the most important controller of all our activities of the body, when we practice internal trip, the nervous energy which is spent in our nervous phenomena is increased because of the vital flow being concentrated in our central nervous system. Another thing is the vital flow is usually directed only in the downward direction in our external worldly affairs. Whenever we are concerned only with the external worlds, only with the impulses and the emotions which are negative, the flow of vital energy is directed downwards. When we practice internal trip, we try to reverse the direction of the energy flow and make that energy flow to go upwards. So during this process, that is the internal trip, whenever we take our mind from the Shakti Kendra to Gyan Kendra, that is from center of energy to center of knowledge, together with that our consciousness, the vital energy flow goes from the center of energy upwards towards the center of knowledge or center of wisdom. All the psychic centers which are situated in the upper part of the body, they get more vital energy, they become more strong, and because they have got the controlling powers, the psychic centers which are situated at the top of the head, that is center of knowledge, the center of peace which is situated in the front part or the middle part of the brain, then Jyoti Kendra, which is the center of enlightenment, which is situated in the middle of the forehead, and the Darshan Kendra, that is the center of intuition or perception, which is situated in between the eyebrows. All these centers are very important psychic centers, and we must develop the power of these psychic centers for controlling our emotions and for making them free from the negative feelings or the negative types, so that our life becomes free from negativities. Anger, fear, violence, sexual passions, all such passions are considered to be negative. For a spiritual practitioner, it is necessary to make all these negative emotions and attitudes must lessen their power and try to have control over all of them. Not only that, a person who lives a worldly life, he should also become free from these negative emotions, the effect of these negative emotions, and for that also this practice is very important. We shall discuss in detail about the emotional development and emotional health in our other lectures. In this lecture, we limit ourselves only to the main practice of Antaryatra and the benefit which we get from this. Now the fourth step of Preksha meditation is the practice of visualization of white color at the center of enlightenment. This is very important exercise which we do every day when we conclude our meditation session. In the meditation session, we start with the first step, which is Kayotsarg, that is relaxation with self-awareness. In the second step, we practice the internal trip through the spinal cord and the brain. In the third step, there are different kind of exercises which we do. Either it may be perception of breathing, or perception of body, or perception of psychic centers, or so on. But the fourth step is always again the same. That is visualization of white radiations or white color at the center of enlightenment, situated in the middle of the forehead. That is Jyoti Kendra. Now let us try to understand the technique of this phenomena and also try to understand the benefits of this exercise. This fourth step again is the spiritual development exercise, because it gives us the power to have control over our emotions. This part of the brain which is called as the frontal lobe, the frontal lobe of the brain, this is the emotional area. According to the modern scientific concept, our limbic system is situated in this part, and hypothalamus is the main center of the limbic system. In the limbic system, all our irrational phenomena of instincts and impulses and emotions, they are controlled. Mostly our behavior, our attitude and our conduct are directed by these emotions and impulses, and that's why we understand that in spite of having the knowledge that we should not do such activities in which we are becoming angry or we become fearful and so on, we do it as if we are forced to do it. In this way, we have no control over our own emotions. We have knowledge, we know that we should not do that, but still by our autonomous reactions and pressure of our autonomous systems from inside, we indulge in violence, we indulge in actions or activities of becoming attached to the external world and so on. So this practice of visualization of white color at the center of enlightenment is very important from the point of view of our spiritual development and also improving our behavior and attitudes in our day-to-day life. You know, a person will never like that these kinds of feelings and emotions should prevail in their daily activities. Still, he becomes handicapped when the internal forces make him forced to indulge in these activities. So by this practice, that is the visualization of white color, what we do exactly is we improve the mechanism of our limbic system, in which is situated what is known as our animal brain. There are two parts of our brain. The animal brain is believed to be inherited by us from our ancestors, and according to the theory of evolution, it is said that the animal brain which was existing many years ago, thousands and thousands of years before, is still existing in our brain, in our existence, in this limbic system. And because it is irrational, it has no rational control, no rational mechanism, it does not work on reasoning or logic. It instantaneously comes into existence, comes into force, and without concerning our intellectual part of the brain, our knowledge part of the brain, it automatically reacts and asks us to react in that way. Now what we have to do in this exercise is to visualize white color. You may ask why white color is to be visualized. There is another theory which is to be understood in the Preksha meditation. The importance is being given to color because the visualization of a particular color is helpful in our concentration as well as in making the changes in our internal existence. So in this way, the white color is useful here to subdue the passions in the form of excitation or impulse, which may be anger or any other kind of negative type of impulse or emotion. This portion, that is the frontal lobe, is responsible for that, and when we visualize white color, actually we are giving more energy to the centers which have the controlling power over our animal instincts, over our negative emotions. And when we do this, that is concentrate the mind there and visualize white color, which is helpful again to increase the power, the controlling power of our psychic centers situated there, we become successful in overcoming these automatic reactions which take place, and gradually we can become free from the impulses or the excitations in which we indulge every time, and in this way we can have more development of more of our positive attitudes and impulses. A person who has got the habit of becoming angry or becoming very much nervous at any time, or very much very much suppressed by his own internal emotions and impulses, he has to increase his controlling power. For that, when he practices this visualization of white color at the center of enlightenment, he becomes more powerful, and then automatically he can control his anger, his fear, his excitations, his negative emotions and so on, and then he can become a more spiritual person as well as a more gentle person, modest person, which is necessary even in the worldly life. So you can try to understand now, and both these exercises, the exercise of the internal trip, that is the second step, and the exercise of visualization of white color at the center of enlightenment, both the second step and the fourth step of our Preksha meditation, you try to understand how to practice them. And when you do practice And when you get some more concentration in these practices, you will perhaps yourself can experience the benefits which we get through both these exercises. As far as the concentration is concerned, it may take time. Every practitioner has not the same capacity to concentrate. So that may take time, but if you know the importance of both these steps of Preksha meditation, that is the second step and the fourth step, when you undertake the practice, when you undertake the meditation during your meditation session, you should try more and more to have powerful concentration during these exercises and get the benefits that accrue from this. So I think that we can conclude this discussion now on the second step and the fourth step, and you should try to have more practice, because it is only the practice which can give you the experience. For experiencing the subtle vibrations of the vital energy inside the internal trip, inside the spinal cord and the brain, you have to practice more, you have to improve your concentration. And the same thing is with the visualization of white color. In visualization of white color, we can take the aid of some imagination also. Say for example, full moon light. Full moon, you know, is a very bright white radiations. So when you can visualize, when you have to visualize white color, white radiation, you can imagine in your mind that full moon light is spreading all around. There is full moon in the sky, you are seeing it, and the same light, same vibrations are entering inside your forehead through the center of enlightenment, is spreading all over the forehead inside, and you concentrate your mind on the visualization of this white color there. This white color also can be visualized by the imagination of a snow-covered mountain. A shining snow on the mountain or any other place, you can visualize them, and so on. Any white shining thing can become a support for your visualization that you can use, and using that by more and more practice, then you get spontaneously, instantaneously the white radiation visualized at your center of enlightenment or in your emotional area or the frontal lobe of your brain, and then you get the benefits there. So I think we conclude today's lecture on the second step and fourth step. Thank you.